What's up everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll show you how to make this simple blouse with a double sleeve. So let's get started. First, you fold your fabric into 4 places until you have 4 layers, and then you take the desired length of your blouse. For mine, I'm using 36 inches, so the length of my blouse is 34 inches while I added 2 inches to it, so I have 36 inches. The next thing is to come over here and take your shoulder measurement. So you divide your shoulder measurement by 2. For mine, I have 8 inches. And then I'll add half an inch to it. So I have 8.5. And then I'll bring this line down like this. And next, you take your armhole measurement. For mine, I'm using 9 inches. So I'll mark it here. So on this 9 inches mark, I'll take my bust measurement. So you divide your bust measurement by 4. I have 9.5 inches. And then I'll add 2 inches to it. To get my waist measurement, I'll take 16 inches like this and mark it here. And then you divide your waist measurement by 4. So I have 8.5 inches. And then I'll add 2 inches to it. And then I'm just going to connect this line from the bust down, and then I'll make a slant line down to the end of the blouse. On the bottom of the blouse, I'll come up with 5 inches. So I'll mark it here like this. And then draw a slant line from here down to this place. For the armhole curve, you place your tape here and then you mark 1 inch. And then you draw a curved line from here down to this place. And then for the shoulder slant, you mark half an inch. And then you rule a line down to this place. And then you go ahead and cut. So after cutting, I'll mark out the neckline. So for the neckline, I'll use 2.5 inches. You place your tape here and mark out 2.5 inches. And then for the back neckline, I'll use 1 inch. I'll mark it here. And then draw a curved line here like this. For the front neckline, I'll use 3 inches. So I'll mark out 3 inches here. Sorry. And then I'll draw a curved line here like this on my 3 inches mark. And then you cut the back neckline first. And then you remove the back bodice. And then you cut the front neckline. For the front bodice, I also marked out half an inch from the armhole. So I'll go ahead and cut. For the back bodice, I'll make a slit of 5 inches. I'll mark it here. So I've marked out 5 inches. And then I'll go ahead and cut. For the sleeves, you fold your fabric into 4 places, and then you take the length of your sleeve. For mine, I have 25 inches. So the length of my sleeve is 23 inches, and then I added 2 inches to it, so I have 25 inches. And then on the on this part, I'll take the ankle measurement. So my ankle measurement is 8 inches, and then you divide that by 2. I have 4 inches. And then for the gathers, I'll add 6 inches to it. And then I'll come up to this part. I'll mark 4 inches here, like this. And then I'm going to draw a slant line from here down to this place. And then you just go ahead and bring this line down to the end of the sleeve. And then you cut. After cutting, you notch this part. And then you go ahead and mark 1/2 inch from this part of the sleeve. So I've marked out 1/2 inch from the front part of the sleeve, like I did for the front bodice. I'll go ahead and cut. And then I've marked out this part. I also marked it behind. So I'll remember to attach this part of the sleeve to the front part of my front bodice. Also for the sleeve, I've cut out these pieces measuring 38 inches for the length, and then 10 inches for the width. I cut out 2 pieces of the same size, and then I folded it into 2. I'll go ahead and notch the midpoint and do the same for this one too. And then you hem the pieces. You hem the bottom of the pieces. So before we start joining our pieces together, I'll use the strip of fabric to turn the back slit. After turning the slit, you go ahead and join the shoulders together with the right sides facing each other. You sew. The next thing is to take your sleeve, with the right sides facing you, you place the other pieces wrong side to right side. So you're placing the wrong side of your pieces to the right side of your sleeve. And then you pin both midpoints together. And then you go ahead and pleat the pieces. You pleat the pieces on the sleeve. You go ahead and make pleats on it. So I've done that of the other sleeve. So it's right side of the sleeve to the wrong side of the pieces. And then you go ahead and make pleats on the sleeve. So just a quick one. You leave some inches away from the edge of the sleeve before you start making pleats. You leave about maybe 2 to 3 inches, and then you start making your pleats like this to the other end, and then you stop before the edge of the sleeve. So remember, we marked the front part of the sleeve, and so you pin the midpoint of the sleeve to the shoulder line. So you're pinning with the right sides facing each other. And also remember to place the front part of the sleeve to the front bodice. You go ahead and pin it, right sides facing each other, and then you go ahead and sew from one edge to the other edge. After joining the sleeves to the blouse, this is what you have. The next step is to go ahead and join the sides of the blouse. So you pin the armholes together. You also pin the pleated part of the sleeve together. And then you pin everything together so you don't miss it. And then you sew from the beginning of the sleeve down to the end of the blouse. So after joining the sides of the dress, you go ahead and hem the sleeves. And you also hem the bottom of the blouse. So when you're hemming the sleeve, you hem it with 1 inch. You fold it in like this, and then you fold it again with at least 1 inch. And then you go ahead and sew it around. And then you leave an opening of about 2 inches to insert your elastic. So after hemming the sleeves, you go ahead and cut your elastic. So to get the measurement of the elastic, you use your wrist circumference plus 1 inch. So I have 9 inches here. It's your wrist circumference, not your ankle circumference, like I said before. And then you pin it, and then go ahead and slide it into the sleeve. So when you get the elastic out, you go ahead and make a stitch on it, and then you close the opening, and you do the same for the other sleeve. So just to be clear, when I was cutting the sleeve, I said your ankle circumference. So it's not your ankle circumference, it's your wrist circumference. So you take your wrist circumference plus 1 inch. So I have 9 inches here. For the blouse collar, I cut the pieces of 50 inches long and 4.5 inches wide. I'll go ahead and fold this into 2 equal parts. And then just notch the midpoint on both sides. And then you pin the notched part of the collar, you pin the right side to the wrong side of your blouse. You go ahead and pin both notched parts together. And then you can pin the entire collar to your neckline. After pinning, you just go ahead and sew. After sewing, you pin the other notched part of the collar to the neckline. You fold it in with 1/2 inch, and then you pin it. You pin it to the neckline. And then you pin the entire neckline. And then you take the tail part of the collar, you fold it with the right sides facing each other. You sew from here down to this place. And then you stop right before the neckline. You stop here. And then you do the same for the other side of the collar. After sewing, you flip it inside out. After flipping them inside out, you go ahead and sew. So you fold this in with 1/2 inch, and then you sew from one end of the neckline down to the other end of the neckline. So here's the blouse. Please like and share this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not. I love you for watching. Thank you.